And we are live. What's up, HasFit Tribe?
Hello.
Nice to see y'all out
Tuesday.
there. Happy Tuesday. Welcome. It is our May Q&A. And for those of you that are new, give you a quick rundown. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat at any time. Usually we get started with some of the questions that were asked beforehand. Or if you just want to say hi, you don't have a question, you just want to say hello, that's cool too.
Want to shout out?
Yeah, want to shout out. We love hearing from everybody. And then the other thing that we like to do is to give a little life update at the beginning. Good way to get the ball rolling. So what's new, Claudia?
Nothing. Really. I mean, well, yes, there's lots of stuff that's new.
Just like every month.
I always do that.
Oh, nothing. Like, wow, that's good conversation. Anyway, moving on. I guess that's pretty much it.
What's new? Well, I've been working on getting a prenatal program off the ground. So I've been recording a few vlog style videos, and I also plan on doing some workouts by myself.
That's exciting.
Which is a little nerve-wracking for me because this guy, runs the show. So taking over takes a lot of mental preparation.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah. But on the prenatal side, I feel great.
For those of you that missed last week's, last month's Q&A, we had some big news. We announced that we are expecting our second child. We have a daughter that's about ready to turn 3, Alessandra.
In 6 days.
In 6 days.
She'll be 3.
And we have baby number 2 on the way.
Yeah.
And again, for those of you that weren't here last week, we're keeping this on the down low. So this is just for the tribe. Don't in this Patreon group, please don't talk about it in the comments anywhere else outside of this right here. Not in the Facebook group. Nowhere else. Not yet. We'll announce it soon.
Yeah, we will announce it.
But not yet.
Not quite yet.
So Claudia is how far along?
I'm about 14 and a half weeks pregnant.
14 and a half weeks. She's got a little baby bump going.
I'm in this is the first week of my second trimester, so.
I think we're officially past the point of being able to hide it. I think the bump is.
I cannot hide it.
No, the bump is there. It is making itself known.
It is.
Okay, so like I said, we have a couple questions already in the chat, as well as some that were
asked ahead of time.
Asked beforehand. So let's start with one that was asked beforehand.
Okay.
So this one is from Brittany. I'll read this one. I've been tracking my food for a while, and I'm really struggling to meet my protein goals. I use the HasFit calculator, and I'm supposed to aim for around 140 grams of protein a day. And that seems like a lot to me. Even when I focus on lean proteins, I don't like shakes, protein shakes that is. Any tips for getting more protein if you don't like shakes?
So you're not alone. There are a lot of people who struggle to get in their required protein. But I just want to start by saying that macro splits, as I state in our Eating for Life book, are simply a guide. It's not a perfect science. So, pardon me. So we really just want you to do the best that you can at attaining your set macro splits. So if you don't like protein via protein shakes, then you'll just have to get it from real food sources, right? Protein shakes are supplementation. For people who don't like a lot of meat or whatever, protein shakes really help. But I know you said that you, in your meals, so maybe focus on your snacks, making those super protein rich.
Yeah.
Greek yogurt, a cup of Greek yogurt is like 20 grams of protein if you go for the fat-free versions, which there's nothing wrong with fat-free versions. Greek yogurts,
bars too. If you don't, I know you said you don't like shakes, but sometimes bars can be more palatable for people.
Correct. And with bars, you want to go aim for 20 grams or more. Some of the higher protein bars are fairly low in calorie, like the Quest bars. They have the generic style Quest bars, the Kirkland brand at Costco. So if you are a shopper at Costco, you can get some there. What else? Bars, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese is also really good if you enjoy cottage cheese. But again, don't feel like 140, it has to be met every single day.
Well, the thing is too, depending on the split you chose, it sounds like you chose the balanced split. So if you choose a higher carb split, then the proteins requirements are going to be a little bit lower too. So you may also play with the splits that you choose.
Totally.
So it's another option.
Just play with it, move it around a little bit, see what feels comfortable to you. But again, protein's super important if you're resistance training for muscle building, tissue repair. So just do the best that you can.
Let's see. Maybe start with some from the chat here.
Okay.
So Rondell says, "What's up, Rondell?"
I'll read it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Rondell says, "My knees are aching and grinding, no pain, sore at the end of the day lately. I'm 2/3 way through the Warrior. Should I continue or switch to something else?"
Well, it should be said that I know Rondell, so I know a little bit more of her scenario. So I'm gonna make a guesstimate, educated guess, Rondell, that you probably have some inflammation going in your knees, and that that program, the Warrior program, may be a little too high impact for you and your body type. So when doing the Warrior, I would try to choose the more low impact modification. So maybe doing some more of Claudia's, and if that doesn't quite take care of it, then you may want to move on over to a more just strength training program, or either the Stronger 90 or the 30-day muscle building for a while, again, just to help you take away some of that impact. And then the other thing you can do is, at the end of the day, is the RICE, rest, ice, compression, elevate at the end of the day, which is something that you don't necessarily want to have to do long term, but at least in the short term, if your knees are sore, again, RICE, rest, ice, compression, elevation, could give you some relief. Thomas, hello, Claudia, hello, Coach. What's up, Thomas?
Hi, Thomas.
Thanks for joining us. Mr. Ratskins, could you give us a little background about yourselves? Childhood, interests outside of fitness, formative life events, inspiring mentors. If not, that's okay. Everyone deserves privacy. I don't. That's
Coach Kozak.
So
privacy
just right.
is out the window at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's been
I fight
long gone.
I fight for my privacy, but it's a losing battle in this household.
Yeah, well, that's how we eat. So so let's see.
Where are you from?
I am from Flint, Michigan, Greater Flint, and then moved to Texas, which is where I met Claudia in San Antonio, and then now we've been in California for 4 years.
3 years.
3 years. Interests outside of fitness, business, and that's pretty much it for me. How about you, Claudia? Interests outside of fitness?
You have other interests outside of. Oh no, you don't. You like camping.
Okay, I like outdoor stuff.
He likes outdoor stuff.
I don't usually make time for it, but I do like it.
He enjoys it. Who's your inspiring mentor?
Inspiring mentor? Jesus. That's about it.
That's a good one.
Okay. Just love, show love. That's about it for me. Everybody else kind of falls in comparison.
Me, I'm from Texas. I was born and raised in Houston. And then I spent about 10 years in San Antonio, which is about 200 miles west. So I'm a Texan through and through, but I love California. I don't know if you'll ever be able to drag me out of the state.
Yeah,
it's so beautiful here.
If I want to catch a dirty look from my wife, I'll just mention moving back to Texas, and that'll pretty much do it. Want to move on to another question?
Sure. This is from Karen. What combination of workouts would you suggest for someone who wants to work out at least 45 minutes a day? Will I get good results if I mix Tabata, cardio, strength, muscle building each week?
So whenever I hear somebody say that, like, I need to work out X amount of minutes per day, my red flags kind of go off, because I think there's kind of like a common misconception that that the only way to measure workout volume is through time. And, so it's like you take somebody who works out 45 minutes a day, but let's say they go to the gym and they spend half the time at the water fountain, half the time sitting on the bench and staring at their phone. They do one set, and then they sit there for 4 minutes, and then they do another set. And then, then they leave 45 minutes later. Okay, so that was a 45-minute workout. Then you take one of our Tabata workouts where it's, or cardio workouts where it's nonstop action for 45 minutes and you're doing so much volume. Every move is a total body move. And then that was a 45-minute workout. Well, they're not the same. They're not created equal. So when you're building your plan and you're building your workouts, I really try to get people to think about overall volume. And volume is made up of frequency, how often you work out, duration, yes, the length, but also the intensity. So, how hard are you going during that time? And then volume, how many total repetitions are you doing? Are you doing a set of 5 reps and then sitting there for 3 minutes, or are you just continuing to go? So it goes hand in hand with intensity. And then load, how much weight are you using? So all of these things really factor in to your overall workout volume, and that answer is going to be different for everybody. Everybody, depending on your real age as well as your fitness age and your fitness level. So you're only really going to be able to find these things out by fine-tuning yourself and listening to your body and seeing what works. Okay, wait, I'm getting injured or I'm fatigued, so I should pull it back. Or hey, I have more energy, let me go a little harder, I'm getting stronger. And so so what you mentioned is an equal mix of Tabata, cardio, strength, and muscle building each week. Yeah, that's great if you have balanced goals. But I would not feel like you need to do at least 45 minutes a day. Instead, I would try to mix it up. Some days shorter bouts with harder intensity, some days longer bouts, a little less intensity, and then you got to make time for rest days. Your body needs rest. I don't care who you are. Professional athletes take rest days. You can't go all day every day, or it will catch up with you.
Yeah, that's always a hard one to answer.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I know that was as concise as
I know, because everybody's just so
different. Yeah, totally. Let's see, what's with the picture of Abraham Lincoln on the wall behind you? His wife was seen chasing him down the street with a butcher knife. Huh. Good times. I like Abraham Lincoln. He was a leader, and he had a lot of tough decisions to make in his life.
He was smart as a whip.
Smart. I like the picture.
And his wife was. She was a little crazy after.
She had a lot going on with losing their son.
Yeah.
Tanya, you want to read that one?
Yes. If on a low-carb meal plan, what is the lowest amount of carbs acceptable per day that would not be harmful? I'm 52 years old, 5'4", at 139 pounds. Carbohydrates, people go as low as 50 grams per day. What could harm you is if you dropped your fats. So fats, you do not want to go below more than about 25 grams of fat per day. It's needed for hormone regulation and a lot of different things in the body. Carbohydrates, honestly, it's whatever you can tolerate. You don't have to go low carb to lose weight if you don't want to. That's a big misconception in the nutrition world.
Is there anything magical that happens in your body when you go low carb?
Stop. Some people no, there's nothing. What's going to help you lose weight is a sustained caloric deficit. That's it. If you're okay with going super low carb, great. But it's not. So
if that's how basically what she's saying is if that's how you want to achieve your calorie deficit, then great. But you need to understand that any weight loss associated on a low carb diet is directly correlated as a direct result of your calories being dropped. So
by wiping out
carbohydrates, not because carbs are the enemy, and if I eat carbs I get fat. No. So as long as I just want to make sure you understand that when lowering your carbs.
I mean, I personally could never go without carbs, but it just whatever you feel you can sustain over the long period of time. If you can't see yourself eating low carb 12 months from now, 6 months from now, then my recommendation would be something that's going to offer you some balance. Especially if you like carbs, but you're like, I feel like I need to do it. I just don't want you to get into the cycle of binging. And a lot of people can do that when they eliminate certain macronutrients.
So you want to read Thomas?
Yes. Hi, I'm 41 years old, and I started your full body beginner workout program in March. I lost 9 pounds in 7 weeks, but now my weight stagnates.
What can I do? I'm still weak for a harder training than the beginning training. still too weak for a harder training. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend that that you need to switch up your training at all. If your weight if you hit a plateau with your weight, then you probably have two different things going on. One, okay, I lost 7 pounds or 9 weeks, and 9 pounds in 7 weeks. One, you're probably slowly continuing to gain a little bit of muscle, but at the same time, it's going to be, I'm going to say 90% your diet. So if your weight's not moving and it's not where it needs to be, then you probably want to reassess your overall caloric intake. Check out our TDEE calculator, which is total daily energy expenditure calculator, which is a fancy way of saying how much food do you need in a day, and adjust
to achieve your goals.
And adjust that. I don't feel pressured into like picking up if you're not ready for it, into picking up your fitness routine and doing harder training. Just continue doing the beginner workouts, but you're going to need to adjust your diet if you want to continue to see results.
Not only that, just one thing, because plateaus are common. Your body craves homeostasis. So when it realizes that you're losing weight or you're not eating enough food or what have you, then you can fall into a plateau. And that's okay. I mean, plateaus are really just a way for you to practice being at maintenance level, right? Because you want to be at maintenance forever in the long haul to be healthy. So just work through it. Maybe adjust your nutrition a little bit, like he said, but just continue to focus on your fitness, progressively getting stronger over time. It's the long haul.
About Lynn.
Lynn. I love working out with you guys. She is 71 and she finds that she's not quite as flexible. I have noticed that I have a tendency to tighten up the back of my neck when doing exercises that involve overhead lifts or crunch-like exercises on the floor. I don't think I'm using bad form. She's tried lighter weights, but she's still tightening up those muscles back there. Do you have any suggestions on how to avoid this?
So a lot of times our workouts and our exercises tend to expose existing weaknesses or issues, and we think, oh well, this exercise must be bad for me because when I do it I feel this pain, or when I do this exercise, there's some negative correlation. But actually, usually what's happening is you have some pre-existing issue, some pre-existing tightness, and then the exercise is exposing it. So I think that's probably what's happening here, where you have some form of kyphosis, which is essentially like a fancy word for poor posture or curvature of the spine. So I recommend you do some of our posture routines. Like if you search HasFit Posture, we have a full posture workout that's going to help. So things that happen when you don't have when you can't maintain proper posture. You get a tight chest, you get a weak back, can't hold you in position, and then you get the muscles in your neck are tight as well. So I would check out a couple of those routines. It's kind of go off the checklist and hopefully help you realign and get back to proper posture, so that when you're doing those, you're not feeling that tightness in your upper back and in your neck. Let's see. Audra has a question. You want to read that one?
Any recommendations for overcoming DOMS, or delayed onset muscle soreness? Slowly getting back into exercise after a break from injury.
Patience. It doesn't usually last too long. So if you're doing the same type of routines, usually after 2 weeks, that like heavy, deep soreness is kind of gone. But the other thing you can do, you can do some additional, stretching afterwards that can relieve some of it. Also, foam rolling can be a good thing to kind of relieve some of the pain associated with it. But really, patience, because after like the first 2 weeks, a lot of it has gone.
Has subsided. And honestly, if I'm super sore from a workout, just personally, I don't work out. I'll skip it. Sure, yeah. I'll go for a walk instead, or do something that's going to allow me to recover, and then I'll take a couple of days off and then get back to it.
Listen to your body. Don't feel like you have to get all the way back to where you were before the injury.
Oh, no.
It's going to take some time to get back.
Yeah, slowly get back into it. Maybe just work out 3 days a week.
So Tanya, who had the question regarding what amount of carbs is too low, if any, has a follow-up question. Is there such a thing as too much protein in a day?
That depends on whether or not you have any underlying health conditions, right? For normal, healthy individuals, there have been studies that have been done that indicate no, there's really no adverse effect to higher protein. People think there's an old what is it called? There's an old myth that is still very pervasive, that it can destroy your kidneys. That has been proven incorrect with the studies that they have these currently, and science is always changing and updating, but as of now, in healthy individuals, there is no adverse effects to a higher protein intake, especially if you are resistance training. And
in addition to a really interesting, relatively newer study, was that those who were eating the same, let's say they took two groups, and they started, one group was eating like this
X amount of protein,
X amount of protein and X amount of calories. Then you took group 2 that was eating the same amount of carbs, the same amount of fat, and then they ate more calories, but all those extra calories, when they were above maintenance, all came from protein. Well, those individuals didn't gain any additional weight over that period of time, basically suggesting that you can continue to eat more protein and your body's not going to store it as fat. So don't feel like, again, well, I'm eating too much protein, it's going to go to my hips either. Your body does a great job of using it.
Protein is the most thermic effective food that you can consume, meaning that it takes your body more calories to break down than either fat or carbohydrates. So it's just, there's nothing wrong with consuming more protein.
Let's see. Lynn's on. What's up?
Hey,
Lynn had the question regarding the posture. Thank you for suggesting the posture exercises. When you say we need 2 rest days, are you excluding things like yoga on those days? It depends on the intensity of the some yoga is like a workout, and some yoga is a stretching routine, right? So it kind of depends on
if you're doing hardcore Bikram yoga or power yoga,
then that's a workout.
Probably not.
Right. If it feels like more of if you need a rest day after yoga, well then it counts as a workout. But if it's just a straight more flexibility, stretching routine, mobility, that definitely is a rest day. So.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to do.
Mr. Ratskins. You do a great job of alerting us to ways to avoid injury before starting an exercise. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. It's
hard to do.
Well, especially when you have such a wide audience with such a wide net of fitness levels, predispositions to injury, pre-existing injuries. So there's just a lot to take into consideration. So we try to cast the widest net possible. We know we can't always get it all, but
we do the best that we can. And thank you for recognizing that.
Hannah, you want to read Hannah's?
Yes. Thoughts on what kind of aerobic conditioning is a good complement to strength training? I'm focusing on strength training right now, but I don't want to neglect my aerobic cardio function. Thanks. That's good, Hannah. I did. I've been dying lately trying to do some aerobic stuff.
There are. I think really what it comes down to is, out of all the options to get your heart rate up, which one do you prefer?
Yeah.
It's really there's no, this is the best and this is going to be the only one that you should do because all the other ones, no. Whether you like high intensity interval training, whether you like more upbeat strength training, whether you want to take a Zumba class, whether you want to go for a run or a walk, whether you want to do some kettlebell training and get your heart rate up. What's not important, it's not important how you get your heart rate up, as important as you get your heart up and you use it in your cardiovascular system. So do the one that you enjoy and you're going to stick with for the long term, because that's really the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
I'm going to read Damien over here. In recent videos, you include a warm up and a cool down according to what workout the video will be about, but the warm up and cool down aren't included in every video. Would it be possible to have some short warm-up and cool-downs according to what kind of video we've done? For example, 5-minute cool-down for back and arms, 5-minute warm-up, abs and shoulders. Greetings from France. Greetings, Damien.
Greetings. Okay, so our general standalone warm-ups and cool-downs, they're not body part specific, but they are designed to hit all of your muscle groups efficiently. So they are still recommended for any of our older routines that don't already include the warm-ups. So just pulling a warm-up from our website or the app is sufficient for what it is you're looking to do.
Right. No need to have a body part
specific
warm-up.
Warm-up.
Let's see, who is next over here? Progathi.
Progathi.
You want to read that one?
Yes. First, she asked how we're doing. We're doing fantastic.
Doing well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for asking. Do you plan on releasing a program which includes only body weight workouts? I'm asking because I don't have access to weights at the place that she's going to. In the question, she mentioned that she was traveling. So
yes, we have, like, in the next, I'm going to say next 60 days or so, we have an additional 4 new programs that are gonna drop, and one of those is going to be a body weight only routine. And again, a lot of the programs that we want to make, we are limited on having enough videos to support the program. So as we are able to as we add more videos and accumulate more, then that just allows us to create more programs. So I would say that, like, the last year and a half or 2 years even, we've spent so much time in, like, making individual videos and workouts, where you'll see, like, over the next 6 to 12 months, you're going to be seeing more and more programs as we finally have enough videos to serve all these. Like Claudia mentioned earlier, we're working on the prenatal program, body weight program. Additionally, I'm going to do like an endurance athlete program. So just expect that to come in the next several months.
So we won't have a body weight program available by the time you're traveling, right?
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Sorry. That's one. Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry.
But you can go to our app or our website, and in the search functionality, you can search body weight, and it will bring up all of our routines, which we have a lot of routines that don't use any of them.
Correct. So we just don't have a specific.
We just don't have it
put together
in a plan.
Yeah. Holly, I just came across your little 5-minute videos. Can you tell me more about those? Sure. So Holly's referring to our new 5-minute burn series that is on Facebook Watch. So Facebook Watch is like Facebook's version of YouTube. So it's a new platform that Facebook is developing, and we are creating 5-minute short, quick, efficient videos to put on that platform. So all those videos will be available exclusively on Facebook Watch first, and then a couple months later, you'll start to see them released on YouTube and in the app on the website afterwards. That's kind of has to do with our agreement with Facebook, where we have to release it there first. And as far as how those are used, you can use those 5-minute videos on their own, like when you just want to get up and moving, but you don't have time to dedicate yourself towards a whole workout. Or you can use them as a phrase that I know people have been always kind of repeat back to us, is you can use those as extra credit. So, if you did like a cardio workout and you want to work your arms a little more, okay, well, here's a 20-minute cardio workout, and then I'm going to do a 5-minute arm workout on top of it. So you can use them however you want. It's just to give you options and flexibility in your programming. Some people have short attention spans, so they can knock out a bunch of.
Oh yeah, we are living in an age of short attention spans.
And Lynn has a suggestion for the traveling person. Couldn't you use resistance bands? You
totally.
Could. Yeah, you could.
They're so easy to pack.
Yeah, true. Tanya, I have a friend that does roller derby, and she wants to know what kind of exercises would benefit her group to keep their agility. Well, roller derby. I would say any of the. I mean, it's a rough sport, so I would say any of the HIIT workouts are going to get you. Are going to involve different agility type moves. Skaters, plyometric jumps, footwork drills. They're going to give you. Are going to give you the. Fulfill the agility requirement at the same time as
aerobic.
As well as that cardiovascular requirement at the same time. And the other thing I would have them also do, I know it's not like the fun thing to talk about, but because it's such a rough sport, I would definitely also suggest that they check out our full body stretching videos as well. Whether it's the full body ones, the lower back specific, shoulder specific, the body's going to take a beating, and so you got to make sure you're recovering and you're taking care of it along the way as well. Hannah says, thanks for the feedback about the aerobic conditioning. Claudia's IG story from the other day inspired me to ask.
I forgot what workout I did that day, but it was conditioning, where I did like a circuit think I had done like 5 or 6 exercises back to back in rounds.
Is that the kettlebell?
No, it was a different one. This was last week,
okay.
Last Friday, I believe, and I was dying.
Yeah,
I was dying.
You know, that's why I said, you know, find what you enjoy and you can do it. Because, like, you know, Claudia right now, she really, like, when we met, Claudia did nothing but run, which is funny because now she wants to do nothing but weight train. So, you know, so it's like for her, it's like, okay, well, what can I mentally, you know, make myself go do? And then for me, you know, personally, what I enjoy, I like to kind of do more conditioning, calisthenics / run workouts at the park because I don't get out of the house a lot. I'm stuck in this chair at the computer, so any excuse I can have to get out and get some sun, and so that motivates me to get up and get moving and go for a run. So just whatever it is that you enjoy is gonna be what, you know, what you stick with in the long term. And that's what it's all about. Not like, oh, what can we do over the next 2 weeks? Well, no, what are you still gonna be doing 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now?
Yeah.
Sarah, yoga is my primary activity, but I want to do the most efficient workouts on my off yoga days 3 times a week. Strength and cardio is one. Essentially, what do you suggest?
Strength.
Yeah, I mean, I would say a combination. I mean, you know, the yoga is not going to necessarily get your heart rate up, depending on what yoga you're doing. So I'd probably say strength and, you know, sorry, just rereading your question here. Do you just want to do one workout, or are you in one? Oh, I see. Now I understand your question. Okay, you're saying you want to do one additional work one day in addition to your 3 days of yoga. So I would mix it up. Maybe 1 week do a HIIT workout, the next week do a total body strength workout, and maybe alternate those week by week. And I would only mess around with total body workouts. I wouldn't do any type of split training because, again, for efficiency's sake, you want to get the most bang in for your buck.
And weight bearing strength exercises are probably one of the most beneficial exercises, forms of exercise that you can do, even as you continue to age. It's just so great for your body, your bones, your joints, your muscles, your heart, because you can get your heart rate can get up during strength training. So it's so good for you. So I always suggest anybody who asks me, I'm like, just total body strength trains are so awesome.
Yeah, so that sounds like it'd be a good compliment. Yeah, that's what she was saying, just one day. Okay, so everybody.
That seems to be the last.
I think we knocked out our questions. We thank you all.
I know it's summertime, so people are probably traveling.
Summertime, yeah, summertime. Everybody's. What? Why does she always make that look when I sing? I have a beautiful voice. Anyway.
Anyhow. So, I hope you're enjoying your vacations, whatever you decide to take this summer. So,
and we appreciate all of you. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us for however much time. We couldn't do this without you. You make this such a joy, such a pleasure to serve you each and every day. We appreciate you, tribe. Till next time, I'm Coach Kozak.
And I'm Claudia.
And we will see you at your next workout.